And I think of it as we look at some of the master clinicians in our field over time, as they've gotten older,
Mm-hmm.
they've been less performance oriented and
Mm-hmm.
more experiential,
Mm-hmm.
just being with the client. And that, I mean, that's what experiential grew out of. Is I got tired of having all these modalities trying to tell me what I need to do, but I never found I was really spending any time with clients.
Mm-hmm.
I was spending time with my to-do list, if you will, my performance outcomes measures. And that when we look at what is it like to spend that session totally focused, totally present, totally caring about somebody who does not have other people care for them, does not have anybody listen to them, does not have anybody that's intently caring for them. And you go, well, no, I don't know that we really reached an outcome. But when you ask well-formed questions that get to the heart of who they are, lonely, anxious, depressed, despondent, angry, whatever it is, because we're really focused in on them and present with them, we're not looking at an outcome. If we were to consider our clients in that perspective of we on the one hand may want to look at every session as the last session, and every session has another one. You hold that in the balance of, if they were to walk out of here without reaching all of the objectives that are on my checklist, would they still know that they're loved and cared for, appreciated, and valued?
Yeah.
So I think that the treatment plan is valuable because it helps us maintain a focus and a direction. It's the banks of the river. So we're still going down the river, but we're not just going to flood out into the pasture land and think that we're doing good therapy just because we're talking. Well, I really listened. I really cared. I was really focused. Yes. What did you do? Well, I really cared. I really focused. I really listened. Yes. So where did you go? Well, I cared and I listened and I focused. Well, are you going anywhere?
Mm-hmm.
So the balance of, is this a worthwhile time, does not always need to have an end point and a box that's checked, but it should have a direction.
Yeah.
Because the focus is on them. It's not, oh, did you see? Oh, let me tell you what I did last week. Oh, well, when I raised my kids, I did this. Or when I struggle with anger, I would do this. Here's what you should do. You should be like me. Well, where did our focus go? Well, now the spotlight is on us. So the viewpoint of the client is the center. They are the focus of our attention. But we are ministers and therapists who have a direction toward health, not just a direction toward conversation and friendship. Well, I would see moving the client or family more in a healthy direction. That they come because they know something about what's going on is not healthy. They can call it dysfunctional, they can call it angry, they can call it emotionally disconnected or relationally separated. They know it's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They also may not know what does healthy look like, what does right look like. And our ethical foundation is we're not supposed to turn them into a mini-me, but we're supposed to move them towards what is healthy in their situation.
Mm-hmm.
So the struggle that I have of self-disclosure with clinicians is that they do self-disclosure in order to convince the client that if you want to do the right thing, you want to do it like I do. You want to be like I am. You want to handle it the way that I did. So let me tell you how I managed my teens or my anger or my drinking or whatever. No, what is healthy for them? You go, well, who holds that standard? Well, I think that Jesus does. So are we caring and compassionate? Are we giving? Are we sacrificing? Are we staying on the altar? Are we trying to crawl off? I'm not going to do that. That's not manly, or that's not helpful. Well, let's look at what's healthy. So do we do that within the context of following Jesus? Well, the Bible says, or Jesus says, or let's look at what healthy is. Let's look at how you and your wife relate to each other, that you come home and act this way. And that, if she were here, would she say that that was caring and giving and loving, or would she say that's selfish and self-centered? Well, she needs to learn how to, okay, well, let's talk about, where did you come up with that viewpoint? So we don't have to pull out a verse or a story about Jesus to help them examine themselves through the eyes of the other person, or in that relationship, or in society in general, that what does healthy look like? So good therapy is moving people toward better health, being more healthy. And that can be emotionally, physically, sexually, relationally. We look at the fruit of the Spirit. Is this being demonstrated in this relationship? Well, she drives me nuts the way she does that. Doesn't sound like you're very patient with that. You're really frustrated that your kids are not doing what you want. You're really not demonstrating long suffering, or kindness, or gentleness, or meekness, or self-control. Go through the 9 of them, as in that sense, that becomes a checklist of, is this the kind of person you want to be? I think having a client come to embrace that early on in sessions. What do we want to do? Well, I want my wife to do what I tell her to, or I want my husband to be more caring, or I want our kids to be more obedient, or okay, so let's put this in the framework in a family of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, meekness, self-control. That if we want to look down, what would need to happen for those fruit to start growing in your family? So the framework, if it becomes an agreed upon, then it's no longer it's not as debatable. I wish my dad would quit yelling at me. Okay, so you think that your dad needs to develop kindness. Yes, he needs kindness. Well, do you think maybe you should develop some patience with him while he's developing his kindness? Well, he's the adult here, but you're the one who's bringing up the issue. So he needs to be more patient. Well, I maybe need to be kinder. So we play those into a fruit salad, if you will, and help them develop the steps, the tempo, the lifestyle that draws that into the family system. I would say it happens so infrequently. Mostly it is a misplaced perspective on the clinician's part of, I didn't get my work done. So I throw all that out the window and say, well, did you survive? Okay, you're good. It's like going out on a mission in the military. Did you bring everybody back? Yeah, but we didn't get what we wanted. Did you bring everybody back safely? You're good. We'll fight another day. We'll figure it out another way. But I think to hurt somebody would be for them to expose an area of significant deficit that does not get addressed at some level, whether it's suicidal ideation, whether it's addictive behavior, and the clinician is too timid to take that on. And it doesn't have to be a direct, well, we're going to solve your addiction, or we're going to solve your suicide, or it may be as much as, I think what you've said here is really important, and I want us to address that. We're running out of time today, but I want you to write some stuff down that we can talk about next week, or something along those lines, rather than just, oh, so you're having trouble wondering if you're going to make it to tomorrow. Okay, well, thanks.
Mhm.
What did you do? So the issue of hurting may be more an issue of neglecting.
Mm.
I did not address this and sent them out without being present with them in their pain and addressing it with them.